So hey guys, welcome again to my vlog. So today we discuss the summary of the chapter 2. So let's proceed. Networking Academy. CCNA Routing and Switching Introduction to Network. So the chapter 2 is Configure a Network Operating System. The first topic is 2.1 iOS Bootcamp, the second is 2.2 Basic Device Configuration, and the third is 2.3 Address Scheme. So, a network operating system enables device hardware to function and provides an interface for user to interact. In the CCNA course of study, students learn to configure both devices that connect to the network and devices that connect the network together. So, intermediary devices like router and switches. Learning to configure the Cisco Inter-Network Operating System, Cisco IOS on Cisco router switches is a large part of the Cisco CCNA program of the study. The Cisco Inter-Network Operating System is a generic term for the collection of the network operating system used by Cisco networking device. Cisco IOS is used for most. So, this is the operating system parts, the shell, the kernel, and the hardware. So, the shell is in the third layer. So, the portion of the interfaces with application and the user. And the kernel is the portion of the OS that interacts directly with computer hardware. And the hardware is the physical part of the computer including underlying the electronics. So this is the diagram of the three operating system parts. This 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 is the hardware, the kernel, and the shell. So next is the user can interact with the shell using the command line interface CLI or graphical user interface GUI. What is CLI? CLI is the user interacts directly with the system in a text-based environment but by entertaining commands on the keyboard at a command prompt. The system executes the command often providing textual output. The CLI require very little overhead to operate. So the next is GUI. What is GUI? A GUI interface allows the user to interact with the system using an environment of graphical icons, menus, and windows. The GUI is more user-friendly and requires less knowledge of the underlying command structure that control the system. For this reason, many individuals rely on GUI environments. So, that is the command line interface and the graphical user interface, the CLI and the GUI meaning. So, next is the Console and Secure Shell or SSH. So there are several ways to access the CLI environment and configure the device. The most common methods are: the first is console. Console is the physical management of the port that provides out-of-band access to a Cisco device. Out-of-band access refers to access via dedicated management channel that is used for device maintenance purposes only. So next is the Secure Shell. SSH is a method for remotely establishing a secure CLI connection through a virtual interface over a network. So, the third is the Telnet. Telnet is an insecure method of remotely establishing a CLI session through a virtual interface over a network. Unlike SSH, Telnet does not provide a securely encrypted connection. User authentication, password, and commands are sent over the network in the plain text. So, this is the terminal emulation program. This is the PuTTY, Teraterm, and Secure CRT. So this is the three terminal emulation program. Primary command modes. User exec mode. This mode has limited capabilities but is useful for basic operation. It allows only limited number of basic monitoring commands but does not allow the execution of any commands that might change the configuration of the device. The user exec mode is identified by the CLI prompt that ends with a symbol. With that symbol, this symbol. So privilege exec mode. To execute configuration commands, a network administrator must access privileged exec mode. Higher configuration mode like global configuration mode can only be reached from privileged exec mode. The privileged exec mode can be identified by the prompt ending with the hashtag symbol. So the configuration command modes. Global configuration mode. Access before other specific configuration mode. From global config mode, the user can enter different sub-configuration modes. Two common sub-configuration modes include the line configuration mode used to configure console SSH telnet and AUX access, or interface configuration mode used to configure a switch port or router's network interface. Next is the basic iOS command structure. The keyword and the argument. A keyword is a specific parameter defined in the operating system. Argument is not predefined a value of a variable defined by the user. 192.168.10.5 iOS command syntax. So, the iOS command syntax is the following example demonstrate conventions used to document and use to iOS commands. Ping IP address. The command is ping, and the user-defined argument is the IP address of the destination device. So, for example, ping is 10.10.10.5. That's the example of the ping IP address. So, the next is the trace route IP address. The command is trace route, and the other user-defined argument is the IP address of the destination device. For example, trace route 192.168.254.254. So this is the example of the trace route. Next is iOS help features. Context-sensitive help enables you to quickly find which commands are available in each command mode, which command start with a specific character or group character, and which argument and keyword are available to particular commands. To access context-sensitive help, simply enter a question mark. So if you enter a question mark, the CLI is with the command. So iOS help features. Command syntax checker verifies that a valid command was entered by the user. When a command is entered the command line, interpreter evaluates the command from left to right. If the interpreter understands the commands, that the requested action is executed and the CLI to the appropriate prompt. However, if the interpreter cannot understand the command being entered, it will be provide feedback describing what is wrong with the command. So, hostname. Hostname is when configuring a networking device, one of the first steps is configuring a unique device name or hostname. Hostname that appear in CLI prompts can be used in various authentication process between device and should be used in topology diagram. So hostname should start with a letter, contains no spaces, end with a letter or digit. Use only letter, digits, and dashes. Be less than 64 characters in length. So limit access to device configuration. Configure password. To secure privilege access, exec access, use enable secret password global config command. To encrypt the password, use the service password encryption global config command. Banner message. If you want to banner your message, to create a banner of the day on the network device, use the banner MOTD hashtag the message of the hashtag global config command. Next is the save configuration. So startup config, the file is stored in non-volatile random access memory and VRAM that contains all the commands that will be used by the device upon startup or reboot. NVRAM does not lose its content when the device is powered up. Running config. The file is stored in running access memory or RAM that reflects current configuration. Modifying a running configuration affects the operation of a Cisco device immediately. RAM is a volatile memory, it loses all. So the IP addresses. IP addresses is the primary means of the enabling device to locate one another and establish end-to-end communication on the internet. Each end device on a network must be configured with the IP address. Next is the network media. What is network media? Have a different types of network media. So some of the difference between various types of network media is The first is distance the media can successfully carry a signal. Second is environment in which the media is to be installed. Third is the amount of the data and the speed at which it must be transmitted. So the last is cost of the media and installation. So this is the interfaces parts. So the copper, the fiber optics, and the wireless. So manual and automatic IP address configuration for end device. This is the meaning of that. To manual configure an IPv4 address on a window, host open the control panel and network sharing center, goes to change adapter settings and choose the adapter. Next, right click and select properties to display local area connection properties. So, interface addressing verification. In the same way that you command the utilities and ipconfig to verify the PC host network configuration, you can use command to verify the interfaces and address settings of the intermediary devices like switches and routers. End-to-end connectivity test. The ping command can be used to test connectivity to another device on the network or a website on the internet. So this is the meaning of the end-to-end connectivity devices. So this is the chapter 2. So that's all, and again, my name is Brian J. Asi. So I hope you learned something from my blog in the summary of the chapter 2. So don't forget to subscribe my channel, click the notification bell. So thank you and goodbye.